Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do your April the 14th just for today in a meditation. I hope you're having a beautiful morning. If you need to reach me, feel free to do so at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Okay, the title of the meditation is A New Vision. Do we really want to be rid of our resentments, our anger, our fear? That comes from the basic text, page 34. Why do we call them shortcomings? Perhaps they should be called long goings, because that's often what it takes for them to fade from our lives. Some of us feel that our shortcomings are the very characteristics that saved our lives when we used. If this is true, then it is little wonder that we sometimes cling to them like old dear friends. If we are having trouble with resentment, anger, or fear, we may want to envision what our lives could be like without these troubling defects. Asking ourselves why we react in a certain manner can sometimes root out the fear at the core of our conduct. Why am I afraid to step beyond these aspects of my personality? We ask ourselves. Am I afraid of who I will be without these attributes? Once we have uncovered our fear, we are able to move beyond it. We try to imagine what our lives could be like without some of our more glaring shortcomings. This gives us a feeling for what lies past our fear, providing the motivation we need to push through it. Our higher power offers us a new vision for our lives, free of our defects. That vision is the essence of our own best, brightest dreams for ourselves. We need not fear that vision. Just for today, I will imagine that what my life, would be like without my character defects. I will ask for the willingness to have God remove my shortcomings. Let me repeat that for you, okay? Just for today, I will imagine what my life would be like without my character defects. I will ask for the willingness to have God remove my shortcomings. Beautiful meditation. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. New vision. So when we're becoming entirely ready for God to remove these character defects, right? Step 6. And in essence, step 7, because becoming entirely ready to have them removed is a process all of itself. And at the end of this reading, it's saying, why not ask God, basically, for the willingness to have the God of your understanding actually remove your shortcomings? Why not ask for the willingness? Because by now, many of us are really entirely ready, as far as we know, right? We are entirely ready to have them removed from us, these character defects, these issues that are causing us, these core issues that are causing us to fall short, to have shortcomings. We're ready. We're tired of the pain that they're causing, not just for ourselves, but for other individuals. So what happens between step 6 and step 7 is that step 7 is basically saying in so many terms, okay, if you're so entirely ready, let's go to the next step and ask God to humbly ask God, rather, to remove these shortcomings. If you're so ready, let's go ahead and take some action. It's kind of like pulling your coat, right? It's basically saying, okay, you're entirely ready. You did step 6. All right, let's see how entirely ready you really are. Are you going to actually ask God to remove these shortcomings, or are you still somehow attached to the benefit that you believe that the character defects, the more positive part of it, that it brings? Are you still seeing these character defects as survival skills from the streets that you need to maintain just in case you come across that right person that needs to know exactly who you used to be? Think about it and think deeply, because this is what is going on. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm entirely ready. Yeah, of course. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to hurt people anymore. I don't want this part of my person or character to be as prevalent as it had been. I'm entirely ready to have fear not dictate my life. I'm entirely ready not to be paralyzed by fear. Do you know those individuals that have so much fear they can do nothing? That they are overanalyzing every situation. And by the time they get done, the situation has resolved itself oftentimes. Not usually for the better, but a lot of times for the worse because they've taken no action. Fear can be paralyzing. Fear can cause you to lie by omission. It can cause you to outright lie. Fear can cause you to be a kleptomaniac. Fear can do a lot of things. So trust me when I say that character defect is not something that is welcomed in my life. But here's the catch. Am I, Mighty Stream, so entirely ready that I am ready to humbly ask God to remove these shortcomings? What are the shortcomings? The shortcomings in step 7 are the things that are directly related to the character defect. The character defect is basically the tree, right? The tree, or I should say a branch on the tree. I'm the tree, right? But the character defect is that diseased branch that can produce very little fruit. And I need to have it lopped off. I don't want the fruit that comes from that character defect anymore. And so I'm asking God, can you please take this away? And now I'm in a position, having done that, that I have hope. I can really start to envision myself without the resentment, the anger, and the fear. I can start to envision what my life would look like without that fear stopping me from getting the education that I want, stopping me from taking that job position or applying for it that I want, or creating that business that I've always dreamed of having, or writing that book that I've always thought of writing. A new vision for ourselves. So the question, again, from the basic text is, do we really want to be rid of our resentments, our anger, and our fear? Now, if you don't know for sure if you want to be, that's where this comes in. Ask for the willingness to have the God of your understanding remove your shortcomings. Ask for the willingness. A lot of times I'm thinking that I need to generate the willingness to want to be rid, right? Or to ask God. I have to generate that. In a sense, yeah, of course, I generate it because it's about me. It's about my improvement, my embetterment, right? My empowerment. So, in that sense, yeah, it is about me. But this ideal that I'm self sufficient, yeah, sometimes I'm in a position where I actually need to ask God for the faith, for the open mindedness, for the willingness. And I have no problem doing that today at all because I'm God reliant, right? That is part of the serenity prayer, right? The wisdom to know the difference of what I can change and what I can't, what I need help with seeing exactly what my part is in the change. In this situation, it's that I'm asking God, give me the willingness to even want to ask you to remove these shortcomings. My name is Mighty Stream. I could talk about this all day because it's a beautiful topic. I hope that you will have a beautiful day. Make it the most beautiful April the 14th you've ever lived. Live it purposefully. Live it with intention and bring the energy to any situation in any room that you step into. Be a change maker. Humbly, of course, but a lot of what the world needs are people like us in recovery. Talk to you soon.